Now, growing up, I will say that Beyonce has been portrayed to be somebody who doesn't really address, anything. Somebody who's above everything. Someone who doesn't really respond to even haters or naysayers. She's been painted as this person who's above it all. And this was such a huge jump from the personality that she had when she was in Destiny's Child, because back then she seemed to be bubbly. If you go back to the old interviews, you will see that she had some sort of personality, even to the extent of throwing shade to the ex-members and other girls. She was somebody who could speak for herself. But all of a sudden, people started noticing that she had turned into somebody who doesn't respond to anything. Even interviews, she was no longer doing them, and a lot of people started praising her for that, saying that, well, she's above everything. She moves like a true celebrity and she doesn't have time for all this nonsense. And I feel like this sort of contributed to people praising everything that she does, because no one wanted to be painted as bitter for commenting on somebody who most likely is not going to address anything or is not even going to throw the shade back. I mean, at least openly or boldly. That being said, over the years, several people have spoken on her behalf, okay, in her support, in her defense. Be it that incident when Kanye West felt like he had to hop on stage and demand that Beyonce be given an award that was already given to another person, or whether it is a husband allegedly moving mountains behind the scenes, or making phone calls allegedly whenever his wife is spoken about in a negative way. Okay? Wendy Williams, I'm just going to say that, and you do what you may with that information, okay? That's allegedly, of course. Whether it is also Solange allegedly speaking up for her against a husband in an elevator, I don't know if we should say speaking up or, forcing the truth out of a husband or the respect out of an older husband. Or whether it's her mom telling people and always gushing about her to media, in interviews, and sometimes making it seem like she has one daughter. It is clear that Beyonce has always been spoken up for. Not to forget also Kelly Rowland, obviously, every chance she got. And whenever people try to criticize her sister, she has always spoken up for her. But Beyonce herself would hardly come out here and defend herself, debunk any rumors, or address anything. Even when it came down to the allegations of infidelity in her marriage, she never really addressed that in an interview. She decided to do that the classy way, I put that in quotes, because she decided to instead release a body of work, an album that narrates or that gives people a sneak peek into the traumas or whatever that was going down in their marriage at that time, which people admired and praised her for. So I say this to say, for the longest of time, this formula of Beyonce not addressing anything has been working. It has worked for years. I mean, even some of us at some point did look at her like, this perfect person that doesn't really, say anything. People lie on her and she doesn't debunk anything. The most that Beyonce would ever do in as far as defending herself is posting a bunch of pictures, whenever a new rumor was circulating. Now, it is to note that in all of these rumors that I'm talking about, they were light rumors about, what's going on in her marriage, what happened in Destiny's Child, what happened here, a lot of other things, how she allegedly was blocking Kelly from becoming the main star. And when you look at the nature of these rumors, it is really nothing as heavy as the recent allegations that have been coming out against her husband. So it is safe to say that at some point, this strategy of her not addressing anything was going to stop working, because this caliber of the allegations was different from, the shade or the rumors or the allegations that were circulating in the past. But what her PR team and her mother clearly were not prepared for are these heavy allegations or how to handle this. Nobody informed them that in 2026, the same strategy of painting her to be this person that doesn't respond, or like painting her like this baby that cannot speak up for herself, was not going to work for this kind of rumors. Nobody prepared them for their son-in-law being on that list, and those emails being released. No one prepared them for their daughter's name to be written on that list as well. So I do believe that they really genuinely do not know how to move around this. They still want to maintain that perception that she's above everything and that people lie on her, and they just don't know how to do it anymore. And this has really been interesting for me to observe, because at some point, a couple of years ago, it was a taboo to say anything about this woman. Like, it could be from her performance, from her hair, the baby bump that got Wenty in trouble. It was an abomination. It was a taboo. Whether people were doing it out of free will or whether it was some voodoo, nobody truly knows. But one thing for sure is any person who had any criticism for Beyonce would immediately be painted a hater, because, well, to the public eye or in the face of PR, she had maintained this innocent, can't harm a fly, face. or facade. I don't know what, I don't know if it's really truly what she is or if it's just a facade, okay? But in 2026, what we have been seeing is people demanding accountability, is people refusing to be bribed by pictures, is people flooding her comment sections demanding answers. They are like, no amount of moving pictures on Instagram with lipstick and sunglasses is going to distract us from the fact that your husband was mentioned in that email and there are allegations that he bought off the black community. No amount of moving pictures is going to distract us from the fact that, well, your name is on that list. We demand accountability, we demand an explanation. And these are comments that I've been seeing both on her page and on even pages that post her in a positive light, pages like the Shade Room. You do know that, well, they do seem like they're doing or they're running PR for her husband and his artists. So it's interesting to see that even the people that do seem to be brainwashed in those comment sections were refusing, the peace offerings in the form of pictures, whether pictures of her or pictures of herself and Kelly Rowland as a baby. So, after seeing the demands for accountability and, of course, the backlash and criticism, it seems like Miss Tina really didn't know how to handle this because she decided to comment under her daughter's recent picture, and this does seem like a response. This to me is giving somebody forgot to tell her how sensitive this issue is. At this time, she thought it is their daily, kind of rumors and everything. This issue, however, is very sensitive, and no amount of commenting and gaslighting people is actually going to solve this. Now, this is what Tina Knowles had to say under Beyonce's pictures. She said, "Wow," with four exclamation marks. What a smart, confident young woman. Another exclamation mark. Truer words never spoken. People who keep your name on their mouth and who constantly make up lies, half truths, and rumors to discredit you really admire you. And they are obsessed with you. You live completely rent free in their mind 24/7. Yes, they worship you. And especially if you do not give them any feedback or attention, they really want to be you. So take it as a huge compliment. 1,000 exclamation marks. Now, I don't even know where to start with the statement. 1,000 exclamation marks. Now, these are from me, not from her. But the intent behind this and what this comment was meant to do, I don't know if nobody told her that this is not the time for this, given how sensitive those files are. Anybody on that list or anybody who's being linked to that list knows how much sensitive this issue is. That's why they're not commenting on, they're not calling people haters for being called out. I mean, this issue is so big to the extent that even billionaires like the likes of Bill Gates and Melinda Gates had to address this. Not in a text message, and also not in a manner of, oh, you guys are haters, you are obsessed with me. No, they didn't do that. They sat down, I believe, with their PR teams behind the scenes, prepared, okay, for conversations surrounding this issue. That's how much serious they know this issue is. And for Mama Tina to come through with a comment being dismissive of people who are seeking accountability from somebody whom they have admired, like she's saying, or like she's claiming, that's a little bit careless in my own opinion. And I feel like if it indeed it is true that it's her daughter who, uses her mom to speak, then I don't know if this was such a smart move or if they're just testing the waters to see if this is going to work. Because I refuse to believe that with how famous or for how long they've been famous, they do not have proper PR teams to tell them how much of a sensitive matter this is. Yeah, because there are rumors, by the way, you guys. People have always also assumed that she uses her mom to, clap back at people and things like that. People have also said stuff like that. So let's get into the statement actually and see the contents of the statement. First of all, how it's written? It's written like, that motivational speech that you give to your daughter when she's feeling down or when she's feeling bullied, and you're trying to hype her up because the wow. I'm just like, okay, wow, with the 1,000 exclamation marks. Like, what are you shocked about? Because she just posted a couple of pictures eating a burger, some pictures standing next to somebody who's being accused of buying the black community. So what's so wow about this, Nestina? What's wowing you here? And she went on to say, "What a smart, confident young woman." And a lot of people had issues with her using the word young woman. They were like, okay, at some point these people probably aren't age aware because she's not a young woman. She's in her 40s. That's not a young woman. And people were like, this reminded them of that time when her husband was talking about, "Oh, I'm a young black man," and everybody looked at him like, okay, what are you talking about? Let's have a conversation about this. Are women in their 40s regarded as young women? And or what? Let us know, you guys, in the comment section. This is why I feel like people who come through with theories that at some point they got stuck in looking at her as that, young woman or young girl that was just coming out of Destiny's Child, they continue to treat her like that person. And at some point, you've got to grow some basketballs as a person and speak up for yourself. And then she went ahead and said, people who keep your name on their mouth and who constantly make up lies, half truths, and rumors to discredit you really admire you and they're obsessed with you. I do believe the statement was not targeted at us mere mortals or us, human beings or people who saw the list. I think this was probably directed to the Department of Justice because they are the ones who released a list with her daughter's name. So somebody needs to tell her that nobody made up that list. It is the Department of Justice that spoke about her and her husband, and they are the ones that released the files. And somebody also needs to tell her that she's not the only person on that list, and she's not the only person that people have kind of been demanding accountability from. Even the President of the United States, people want answers from that man as well. So I do not know if, when it comes to her daughter, accountability equates being obsessed and being hated and stuff like that. She said, "You live completely rent free in their mind 24/7." That's a stretch, Mama Tina. People are just saying, okay, you're on the list. They're disgusting things there. Are you going to debunk these rumors the way that Russell, Ciara's husband did? Or are you just going to keep quiet? That's what people are asking for. I mean, each time people would talk about munching babies, that's a serious issue, okay? It's not about people hating. At this point, and then she went ahead and said, yes, they worship you. And this is the part that made me feel like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be talking about these people anymore because now it's getting ridiculous, okay? I do not know at this point if this is just a comment or if it's now a spell. And one thing I refuse to do is being made to worship, celebrities or somebody unconsciously. I don't want to do that. So now at this point, I don't know if there's a spell being done through this comment, because what are you talking about worshiping? It's ridiculous that it's only her mom, it's only her that people talk about worshiping. You get what I'm saying? And now I understand why people used to be mad at her saying bow down, bees, bow down, and all of these things. Because I was young when that was happening, and I didn't understand, the backlash and why people were like, okay, that's awkward, that's weird. But now that her mom is now talking like this and I'm an adult, I'm like, okay, you can say that people admire your daughter. You can say that this worship is a stretch. What are you talking about? Couldn't you find a better word? Is this the pep talk that they have been giving their daughter behind the scenes? They told her she's some sort of a goddess or something. Like, this is very weird in my own opinion. This is the part that makes me uncomfortable altogether, and that makes me feel some type of way about even talking about this, because I don't know. Maybe a spell is being performed at this point, because out of all the words in the dictionary or in her vocabulary, it's worship that she decided to pick. What are you talking about? She's not a goddess. She's a human being, immortal, just like all of us. And then she said, they really want to be you, so take it as a huge compliment. I don't know, maybe this was meant to be in Beyonce's DM and she accidentally posted it on, in the comment section, because none of this is normal. None of this makes any sense. And even her own fans feel like some type of way. This is one of the comments that I saw. A tweet. It's actually a tweet that I saw on Twitter. And this is from somebody who is a Beehive member, pro Beyonce. They said, no shade, but Mama Tina, not everything deserves an IG comment. And even her fan base feels like this. Even her fan base realizes that she's not doing too much, and the whole worship thing, tacky. Michael Jackson, Taylor Swift, a lot of people really have hit the milestones that she also has, but we're yet to see them saying that people worship me, worship you, or like we're yet to see their mothers say that people worship them. That's a weird, choice of words. What is this? But anyway, you guys, let me know in the comment section what you think about this tea. Yeah, I find it rather interesting how people are beginning to wake up and people are not accepting all of this, because what are you talking about? People worshiping your daughter because they're asking for a response, accountability. Because the other thing is that her fan base also and these media platforms have used rumors to attack other artists who seem to not worship your daughter. So some of these people are the ones that are actually needing accountability, because now the other fans and people that also supported the other people that they were crucifying before are now using this as a get back. So let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think is going on in that camp. And do you think that Mama Tina is just doing this without anyone knowing? And what is this? And also, guys, let me know if you think that it is normal that Miss Tina continues to speak for Beyonce and, she doesn't say anything. Now, tell me, you guys, do your moms also speak for you like this? And do you remain quiet when you go through some issues and not address anything, and you just let your mom speak on your behalf? Is this something that you also do? Personally, no. And I'm not even close to Beyonce's age, but I've got my own mouth for a reason, okay? I have my own mouth for a reason. If Beyonce can learn complicated choreography, surely she can open her mouth and defend herself. I mean, I haven't seen other celebrity moms doing something like this. I feel like to a certain extent, Miss Tina kind of does overdo it. But also in her defense, I do understand where that might be stemming from because remember, you guys, this girl started performing when she was very young. And I feel like at that point, she needed to speak up for her daughter because she wasn't an adult, you know. People would come with this damaging criticism, and people were really brutal back in the day, okay? During the days of Destiny's Child, people were really, blogs were brutal, tabloids were really brutal. So I understand why she might back in the day have felt the need to speak up for her daughter. But now I just feel like she has failed to understand that her daughter is now grown. She can now speak up for herself. So let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think about this. I don't think I'm going to talk about anything else, actually. I wanted to talk about other things, but this video is 21 minutes. And I've recently noticed that I like to take a deep dive into topics. It's cute and everything to just say, oh, this is what happens to Miss Tina, and this is what people are saying without giving context, without giving my own full opinion, without really analyzing what's been going on. That's fun too. But for me, this is also fun to like kind of properly explain everything thoroughly, do a deep dive into a topic. Let me know if that annoys you because I saw somebody complaining about that in the comment section saying that, you know what, you take too much time on one topic. But honestly, I don't know, I find this interesting when we actually do calmly talk about subjects thoroughly, than when we're just hopping from one story to another. I feel like this is more engaging. But then this is my personal preference, and this channel is not for me to watch. Obviously, I'm not recording this for myself. I'm recording it for you guys. So it might be something or a format that interests me. But if it doesn't interest you, then what's the point in me recording it? Because I'm recording this to engage with you, to have conversations with you. So feel free to let me know in the comment section if you find this annoying or not. I'm very open to suggestions as long as you're keeping it respectful. Obviously, if you don't keep it respectful, I might not see your comment because for some reason I think Miranda, when she just hops here, she looks in the comment section, she's like, okay, we're not playing this, and before you know it, the comments have the disrespect